Well, this is Simon Chadwick of Cambiar, managing partner of Cambiar, and I'm delighted to have with me today John Kearon, the founder, chief juicer, chief executive, chief whatever of BrainJuicer, on its 10th anniversary, which I believe, John, is December 6th, right?
December 6th, 10 years ago. My goodness. I think they've been like dog years, and yet it's gone in a flash.
So paint a picture of December 6th, 10 years ago. What was going through your mind then as you put this fledgling out of the nest?
Sheer panic, mixed with healthy doses of excitement. I mean, I suppose you have to remember it was the brave new world of the turn of the millennium. The dot-com boom was still, well, it was pretty much reaching its zenith at that stage. You know, the end of '99, kind of much forgotten now, but there were astronomical valuations for dot-com businesses, and less about venture capitalists getting greedy. But there was a genuine, Wired magazine talking about a brave new world and the things that the internet, the revolution, if you like, that it could herald. And actually, I was swept up much more in the latter, the sort of genuine sense of what the internet could do, rather than the venture capitalist get rich quick schemes, which, as anyone who knows me knows, that's not really my interest. Much to my wife's disappointment. Why can't you get rich quick? That would be nice, but I've never really believed in that much, and take the long road. But that sense that it really, it could usher in something different. I thought there had to be a way to do this in marketing, market research. Market research just felt ripe for a kind of, frankly, blowing up and starting again.
Well, that has been the mantra of BrainJuicer almost from the beginning. And I agree with you. If you go back to 1999, it's difficult today as we're all immersed in sordid conversations of data quality and the like on the internet to remember that the internet was very young then. And here you were coming in saying, not only is this a new conduit for the conduct of research, but that you were going to blow up the model. Why did you want to blow up the model?
Because I think at the time I felt very strongly that it was poor, if not broken. Market research, particularly quantitative market research, hadn't changed much. It hadn't innovated for 30 years. Conjoint analysis was pretty much the last big invention of quantitative research. And that is, I think, about 30 years old. It certainly is now, even if it wasn't then. And I just felt the internet allowed interaction. It allowed connections between people. And after all, all that a brand and big companies want is to understand people well enough to provide them with something that they like and that they buy and that they repeat buying. And therefore, market research over the internet just intuitively felt like it could be richer, more creative, more interactive, frankly, more revealing, more insightful. And my task, I suppose, BrainJuicer's task, was to try and invent the ways to do that, to utilize the medium, the opportunity of what it can do, to just basically leapfrog the rather tired clipboard world of quantitative, closed-ended studies.
You've challenged the market research industry a number of times, sometimes to its very core. I mean, the entire idea of deploying wisdom of crowds, for example, goes to the core of probabilistic sampling. How's the industry reacted to those challenges that you've put out there?
Do you know what? It's changed over the 10 years, and I'm glad to say it's getting better. I think in the very early days, And maybe this is true, isn't it, of anything that's very new. You're completely and utterly dismissed. If I'm really honest and if I remember, I mean, contemptuously in some cases. It's like, this will never work. This is irrelevant. I don't even want to spend time kind of listening to it, let alone talking about it. Would not be too harsh a summary of the very early days, except, I'm glad to say, for a very few open-minded, curious, pioneering clients. And I guess that's all you really need, isn't it, in the early days, to get a toehold, a finger grip, on the wall of survival, let alone success. And then I think over the years, now as we reach a sort of a 10-year mark, and probably, hopefully, because we've succeeded in bringing and challenging the research norms, people actually take us much more seriously. And I'd say it's almost becoming true to say that people are almost looking to us for, well, what's next? What else could you do? And that's a very nice feeling. That's obviously much more satisfying, rewarding. So I suppose, we've gone from being a complete maverick that's dismissed, I'd say, contemptuously at worst, to being a credible, innovative voice in the research industry and admired, hopefully, by many, and actually looked to for, well, where could it go? Where will it go? Um, which is great. That's a nice positioning and one we're very comfortable with.
I want to come on to where will it go in just a moment, but it's been interesting to me to see the evolution of BrainJuicer into the mainstream of conversation, at least in market research. I mean, after all, I believe you're the only company that has ever won Best Paper at SMR back-to-back, and a slew of other awards. Plus, of course, your financial results are pretty tidy, and people see you growing. But you've also challenged the research industry, not just methodologically, but you've challenged them in a whole load of other ways as well. I remember your paper on Don't Be Afraid to Fail. Do you feel you've got a mission out there to really shake this industry from top to bottom and effect a change in attitude as well as method?
It is actually, and it almost feels very natural. I mean, for everyone working here, that's part of the reason I guess people like to join the company, because they want to be part of shaking something up, challenging it, and actually have some fun doing it. I hope we will always have a bit of a contrary nature. The danger is we become the establishment, I suppose. But yes, you're very kind to point out that, we've won a few awards. We're just better at bribing the judges, Simon, That's what the other agencies haven't worked out yet. But yes, we are comfortable challenging. And, if I had to try and put my finger on why and what it is we're doing, we think, I certainly do, that market research, when it is at its very best, is seriously exciting, impressive, even sexy. It's like really understanding human nature, surprising things, let's say, about human nature, not just the obvious stuff, but surprising things, is very interesting. I mean, it's fascinating, intriguing. And we're on a mission to try and reinvent or invent clever ways to do that on a large scale, rather than the only time that that's done is in very small, brilliant, qualitative researchers, individuals who can do it. How can we do it on a big scale? How can we bring it? How can we tip the industry from its dull clipboard, kind of closed-ended, rather dry, statistically based outputs of obvious results, I'd say, largely, and move the needle towards exciting, intuitive, innovative, insightful research being the norm. That's what happens most of the time, not on those rare occasions. And that is an industry I really, really want to be part of. And, I suppose in our tiny little way, we're happy to try and lead the charge and encourage other people to sort of have a similar attitude. And you've been doing that, and Fiona Blades, and Steve. There are various people, Ray Pointer, just to name a very few who I think have the similar spirit, and there is this little gathering momentum. I feel of that's kind of that's a fun, exciting mission to be part of.